Welcome. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today. We're going to be decoding the sociocultural mechanics behind something you interact with every single morning: fashion. But to be clear, we aren't talking about hemlines or color palettes today. We're looking at a massive macro trend analysis to understand the true architecture of human expression. We're going to see exactly how economics, politics, and psychology literally weave themselves into the fabric on our backs. Okay, let's dive into this. It's incredibly easy to dismiss fashion as something purely superficial, right? Or just a frivolous pursuit. But the reality? It's an ever-changing, dynamic scenario that rigorously reflects the human condition. It's honestly the most visible, immediate barometer of our global shifts. A piece of clothing isn't fashion just because someone puts it on. To truly become fashion, a garment has to reflect the prevailing socio-cultural ethos of its time. It has to act as a mirror to our shared human condition. So that brings us to the ultimate question. If it's not just a random whim of some designer in a studio halfway across the world, what actually dictates what we wear? What are the invisible forces pushing and pulling our wardrobes? To answer that, let's look at this brilliant metaphor: the Zeitgeist prism. Think of a simple beam of white light hitting a glass prism. In our case, that beam is a raw, fundamental human need to counteract boredom. It's our endless search for novelty. But as that raw psychological need hits the prism of the zeitgeist, which is really just the defining spirit or mood of a particular period in history, it splits. It refracts into 10 distinct stimuli. We have threads like the psychological, the social, the political, the economic, and the technological. And these threads don't just float in isolation. They braid together to form a tangible, wearable reality. That is the fashion trend. Here is our cognitive map for this explainer. 1. Beyond the garment. 2. Pillar 1, the human condition. 3. Pillar 2, the world stage. 4. Pillar 3, pragmatic forces. And finally, 5. The woven synthesis. Moving right along to Pillar 1, the human condition. Here, we'll explore our psychological, social, and cultural mechanics. Now, what's really interesting here is the psychological duality at play. Imagine a pendulum constantly swinging back and forth. On one side, we have our drive for personal identity. We want individuality, personal style, and freedom from peer pressure. We want to stand out. But then the pendulum swings to the other side: social norms. Here, we're pulled by dress codes, societal ideals of beauty, and the management of our public image. Basically, we want to fit in. This endless tension, fueled by our desire to counteract boredom with something new, is the fundamental engine driving the entire fashion cycle. And this psychological engine directly powers a continuous loop: the endless cycle of differentiation versus imitation. It starts with differentiation. Economically stronger groups want to distance themselves from the masses, so they buy high-priced, exclusive luxury items. But immediately, the broader public aspires upward, demanding those exact same status markers. So cheaper facsimiles and fast fashion are manufactured to meet that demand. But here's the genius part. Once the imitation is successful, the elite group feels the need to differentiate all over again. They demand a brand new trend, the engine turns, and the whole cycle just restarts. But Pillar 1 isn't just about individual psychology. It's also about our broader environment. We're seeing a really powerful rise in social conscience. Milestones like the 1987 Brundtland Report catalyze global awareness of environmental responsibility, pushing us away from mindless consumption and toward ethical practices. We see collaborative ethical craft initiatives like Tsunamica, linking craft, fair wages, and social recovery. And woven right alongside that, we have the cultural matrix. We are constantly mixing elements from deep-rooted historical high culture, like intricate traditional embroideries, with rapid, globally synchronized popular culture, driven by the internet, movies, and modern media. Next up is Pillar 2, the world stage, a look at dominant events, political factors, celebrities, and historical inspiration. It's genuinely fascinating to observe how political events can take a simple garment and weaponize it into a powerful symbol of ideology. Take Mahatma Gandhi's hadi. It wasn't just a woven fabric. It was a potent, wearable symbol of the desire for pre-independent Indian autonomy. It was literally a tool of peaceful protest. Similarly, look at the culturally specific silhouettes of power, like Pandit Nehru's 1950s Banda Gala collar, or Prime Minister Narendra Modi's sleeveless jackets. These aren't just tailoring choices. They act as distinct, culturally confident alternatives to the standard Western power suit, turning a garment into a clear, visible political statement. So how does this build into what we call the trickle ecosystem? Basically, how do these dominant events actually reach our closets? Well, it happens through a massive collision. From the top down, you have elite influence, film stars, sports icons, and highly visible political figures dictating what is aspirational. But simultaneously, from the bottom up, you have street innovation. This is subcultural influence, youth rebellion, and street style bubbling up from the grassroots. The magic happens right in the middle. When high-profile endorsement powerfully collides with grassroots street innovation, it births the dominant mainstream trends that end up taking over the world. That brings us to Pillar 3, pragmatic forces, the economic, geographical, and technological realities. And this brilliantly illustrates how global economic variables instantly rewrite our domestic buying patterns. During an economic recession, the mood is pragmatic and cautious. The consumer priority is strictly value for money. As a result, demand surges for highly durable, practical, classic items that transcend short-term fads. But flip the switch to a buoyant economy. The mood becomes thriving and optimistic. Consumers crave novelty and status, leading to a massive surge in high experimentation and rapid cycle fast-moving consumer goods. The economy literally dictates the lifespan of your clothes. Beyond economics, we're bound by geography and technology. Geographical determinism demands specific practical solutions. For example, brightly colored traditional clothing evolved to visually compensate for stark, arid desert landscapes. Military uniforms use camouflage to integrate directly into local terrains. Extreme climates demand functional layering. But today, technology is completely overriding some of those geographical limits at breakneck speed. The information boom has shrunk the world, turning trends global, meaning globally synchronized but locally flavored, which reduces the lifespan of trends to mere months. Meanwhile, intelligent smart textiles are giving fabrics medicinal properties, wearable tech, and even applications for spacesuits. Finally, the woven synthesis, bringing the abstract into the physical. So the crucial point is, let's map everything we just talked about onto a single, tangible garment. Take a standard jacket. It's not just a piece of outerwear. Technologically, it features a smart fabric responsive heating mesh. Economically, it uses modular panels to ensure long-term durability for a value-driven buyer. Politically, the patches show it's worn as a symbol of climate action solidarity, maybe debuting at a dominant global summit. Psychologically, it features custom LED trims allowing the wearer to express personal identity within a uniform norm. And culturally, it features integrated popular culture graphics. Every single thread tells a macro story. Because fashion is absolutely not created in a vacuum. It's a rigorous, deeply woven interdisciplinary tapestry of economics, sociology, politics, and psychology. To understand what a society wears is to understand the exact mechanics of the society itself. So I'll leave you with this. When you step out your door tomorrow morning, take a look at yourself. What macro story is your outfit secretly broadcasting to the world? Thank you so much for exploring this with me today.